make the long-term investment not to imitate others or to chase the success of others, but really to develop your own internal success by discovering your authentic passions and motivations and values. This is a process that takes years. Find your own voice, find your own style. Whether you're going to start a YouTube channel, find your own way of doing a YouTube channel. Stop copying others. Or for that matter, don't even start a YouTube channel, because every fool and his mom nowadays is starting a YouTube channel. Why are they starting a YouTube channel? Simply because they're imitating others. They don't know what else to do. They're not thinking outside the box. They're not truly being creative. They're not being authentically themselves. They just see that, oh, well, Leo's doing a YouTube channel, so I should do one. Or like Joe Rogan's doing one, so I should do a podcast. It's like, I'm not saying you shouldn't start a YouTube channel or a podcast if you really have that vision. But man, like, look for greener pastures. Look for new opportunities out there. They're out there. You just have to start to really be creative. The first few ideas that you get for what your business should be or what you should do with your life, throw those away. Those are like junk. That's the most on-the-nose, imitative, just copycat idea that you could possibly have. Throw all those away. Throw away your first 10 good ideas, and then maybe your 11th good idea could really be something authentic to you, something new, something original that contributes something fresh to mankind. We don't need everybody in the world to have a YouTube channel. What we need is new people to find the next thing that comes after YouTube channels and after podcasts. What is that thing? Go do that. See, what you're going to be paid for and rewarded for is not copycat activity, but developing something new. That's hard to do, but it's also very rewarding. Stress innovation and creativity in your life. Try to be innovative and creative in whatever field you're entering into and doing. Don't just assume that it's all been done already. Find new ways of doing things, whether it's spirituality. Like, it amazes me how sometimes I try to present something new within spirituality and people post me a comment like, oh, Leo, how dare you think that you could discover something new? It's all been talked about by the Buddha for 1,000 years. You can't possibly discover anything new. No, there's totally new ways to do spirituality that were not discovered by the Buddha, which is the whole point of spirituality. Spirituality would be so stale and boring if it just had to be done the same old way for thousands of years. The point of spirituality, if you look at the evolution of spirituality as just one example, I mean, you see this in every field, not just spirituality, is that it's constantly evolving. Spirituality has never been the same. That's why we have this gigantic diversification of different spiritual methods and techniques and teachings that all contradict each other. It's because every generation, spirituality is being reinvented. I mean, of course, the fundamental truths are basically the same, but new things are happening in every field, whether it's medicine, computers, science, politics. It's not staying the same. It's all evolving, changing. Be on the cutting edge. That's where it's exciting. That's where you can contribute the most to mankind and then reap those benefits. And speaking of innovation, of thinking outside the box and being creative, it's important that you learn to go beyond the mainstream, most popular sources. Yeah, every idiot and his mother listens to Joe Rogan. That's not a knock on Joe Rogan. He has an interesting podcast and all that, and he's very successful. But see, if all you do is you get your information from sources that are the most mainstream, the most popular, then your mind is going to get stuck on that and think along those grooves and those lines, and you're not going to generate very interesting new possibilities in your life. Go out there and find sources that are not popular. Go find some YouTuber who doesn't have 1 million followers or even 100,000 followers, who has a couple thousand followers, but who's generating amazing content. And follow that rather than following somebody with 10 million subscribers. See? This is how you become creative. You pull from many, many different sources and perspectives, and you don't just do what everybody else in the mainstream is doing. Now, of course, you can screw this up, and you can go down the road of conspiracy theories and various weird cults and crazy, occult practices and all of this. That just because something isn't mainstream doesn't mean that it's automatically good or true or wise for you to be doing. Sometimes mainstream stuff is great. You got to make sure that the non-mainstream stuff you're finding is still high-quality stuff and that it's still truthful, because there's a lot of fringe, wacky, crazy stuff out there. Alex Jones and so forth, that doesn't make it good. Although even with something like Alex Jones, I mean, people who watch Alex Jones, the only reason they really watch him is, again, because in a certain sense, Alex Jones is the mainstream of what you would go to if you're challenging the mainstream. You see, so again, you're not really thinking outside the box when you're watching Alex Jones. Alex Jones is like for stupid people who want to think that they're thinking outside the box and that they're being original by engaging all these conspiracy theories. That, they think that they're being somehow, we're challenging the mainstream, but actually, no, you're just being stupid in some other mainstream way. It's sort of in the same sense that, like, in school, you had those kids who were trying to be rebels and trying to, like, do the opposite of what the mainstream was. They were trying to be nonconformist, but they were all being nonconformist in a conformist sort of way. And so ironically, they had no real originality, because, like, if they got tattoos, they all got tattoos of a certain kind. If they all dressed like goths, and they all just dressed like goths, and that was their thing, and then, you weren't really being original by doing that. To be truly original, to go off on your own, to explore some new facet of life that no human has ever discovered before. That's what's amazing about life. And there's an endless amount of that, because reality is infinite. There's no end to it. So you can always discover more new stuff. That's what's so amazing about it. Don't squander that infinity and that creativity by just rehashing the same old thing over and over again. You see, the power of infinity, when you really understand it, people sometimes think, well, but if reality is infinity, Leo, does that mean that it just keeps cycling over and over and over again? The same things have been happening forever in a cycle, an infinite number of times? Actually, infinity is the opposite of that. Infinity means that everything is so endless that it can keep going and going and going forever. New stuff can be generated forever without ever repeating a single time. In the same way that you have the natural numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is there any risk that the numbers will repeat if we keep counting up? No. You can always find a new number that never repeats an old one. That's the nature of infinity. There's always a higher number. There's always a new number. It's endless. Same thing with reality. In every domain, there's always a new kind of movie you can make. There's always a new video game, a new piece of art, a new piece of literature, a new business, a new piece of technology, a new way to do science, a new way to do spirituality forever. And not just that, but then new categories of things. Imagine a new category beyond technology, beyond spirituality, a new thing beyond science, a new thing beyond movies and beyond video games and beyond virtual reality, a new thing beyond computers, a new thing beyond medicine, a new thing beyond whatever you can already imagine, something that you can't yet imagine there's some new thing there that you haven't yet imagined or discovered. So go discover it, and then you'll be excited by life. Creativity is the source of passion in a sense.